Welcome into CalGuard Gymnasium here on a Tuesday night as the Trinity University Tigers will host the Hardin-Simmons Cowgirls. The Cowgirls coming in 13-1 and nationally ranked, number 12 in the country. Trinity improving their record to 6-4 with a dominant win over Schreiner just last night, hoping to keep it going. I'll be Josh Michigamba taking you through the play-by-play, and I'll be joined by Annika Signs with the color commentary. And Annika, what are your thoughts here for this one?
I'm excited. It's going to be a second-round matchup of last year's NCAA tournament. They haven't played each other since last March. I know that there's been a lot of changes on both sides of the team. Hardin-Simmons has lost 4 seniors last year, and during that game, I kept looking back at the stats. 3 of those seniors actually scored over 15 points, but I mean, the Cowgirls have been having a really great season thus far, and I'm sure they're looking to continue this winning streak that they got going on.
And it'll be Hardin-Simmons with the tip. They'll be led by Jacqueline Berry, Madison Williams, Kylie Ellsworth, Aiken Simonis, and Kenan Shields. And now quickly, Bailey Timmons for the Tigers with a shot up and no good. It'll be Hardin-Simmons taking it back. Timmons joined by Josie Napoli, Kylie Minter, Elaine King, and Sky O'Rourke. And that'll be Berry trying to take it up against King, and King will block it out, or if that was a pass, then just deflect it out. Mentioned a dominant win here for the Tigers last night against Schreiner, 106-72, and one of their best outpours of the season. Hardin-Simmons has quite a few of them, including coming in off a 51-point victory their last time out, 89-38 at home against Rhodes. And then right before that was a 30-point win against St. Mary's from Minnesota. The 51-point win was the second 51-point win of the season for Hardin-Simmons. They were one of the top scoring teams in the country. They have one of the top scoring benches in the country.
We just see another forced turnovers by the Tigers. Their defense was impeccable last night. They had 31 forced turnovers against the Schreiner Mountaineers, and that's one thing that they're definitely going to be looking forward to getting out of here in a top 20 school. They did the same thing against Illinois Wesleyan, and they forced them into 25 turnovers when that team averaged about 13. So I expect to see a lot of intense defense and, deflection. We saw that last possession. If it wasn't Bailey Timmons, it was Elaine King who got a hand on every ball that was being passed.
Yeah, Trinity will more than likely come out in their press that they've done pretty much since Cameron Hill got on campus about a decade ago. It'll be Napoli from the elbow, her shot short, and quickly pulled in by Shields. Maybe had a chance to run with it, but instead hands it off to Berry. And that'll be the first basket of the game right at the 9-minute mark. Jacqueline Berry has the first 2 points.
That last possession for the Cowgirls on defense, they were set up in what looked like a 2-3 zone, and they're going to force their way back into that at the half court. And they pressed a little bit up in this 3-quarter press. So I'm expecting that for the rest of this quarter, definitely.
Travel against Kylie Minter. Yeah, in that zone, Trinity's able to penetrate through it, came all the way across the baseline, but really no opportunity to come back in underneath the basket.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty much any press. You know that you're going to defeat it with passing. You're not going to defeat it through the dribble, especially, with a team that is as quick as the Cowgirls are.
Aiken Simonis with the 3, and Hardin-Simmons with an early 5-point lead. Hardin-Simmons will start conference play following this one at ETBU on the 16th. And Trinity has already played ETBU, falling by 15 back at the end of December. And they've also lost a couple of games to Mary Hardin-Baylor by roughly the same amount in 2 contests against the Crusaders. So not a great start against what's left of the ASC. An opportunity here against Hardin-Simmons tonight. Already down 5-0. Ivory Scott has checked in, and her jumper is good. Scott had a really good outpouring last night, 9 points off the bench.
I think one thing that's kind of new for the Tigers right now is they haven't really played against a zone. So we've seen it a couple possessions here on offense. They're making sure to hit Elaine King at that high post and making her become that decision maker. We saw that last night. We saw that last night too, when they had that little motion offense and she was picking it up at the top of the key and giving some backdoor passes to I think one of them was Kylie Minter, and she actually finished in M1 last night. But, I mean, we saw that puncture by Josie Napoli to find a wide open Ivory Scott at the short corner. So it's going to be a good game, especially if they can keep continuing to puncture the paint.
And puncturing the paint right there was Kinnan Shields. She's got her first basket. Back to a 5-point lead once again. I mentioned the 3 losses to ASC teams. That's been kind of the Achilles heel this year for Trinity. They did take Illinois Wesleyan, the number 3 team in the D3Hoops.com poll, as Shields will put in another layup, and she's got 4. They took on Illinois Wesleyan and had the lead in that one for majority of the game in the second half, but couldn't quite hold on to it, lost by 3. So they've had good showings against good teams. They've also just seemed like the night wasn't their night a couple of times more than what Trinity fans would like to see.
Yeah, and that Illinois Wesleyan game was, I mean, take away that loss, it was very indicative of how deep their bench is and how capable everybody else on that floor is, whether that be shooting threes, getting to the basket. I know Skylar Work had a game high that day. A new starter for the Tigers this year, so, I mean, they're definitely capable of getting themselves into good positions. It's just finishing out those games.
And with no answer down low, it's Shields once again, her 6th point of the day. And the last 2 buckets have come off of just rebound cleanups. That one thrown, maybe hoping a little too much to see Skylar Work left undefended right there, but getting back was Barry.
It's a little hard, especially when a zone can really read any pass that's being skipped. I don't know if that's one of those passes that you want to continue to keep making, but if you can get short, quick passes like the ones that we just saw right now.
Yeah, that right there is textbook on how to beat that 2-3. Inside, finding Elaine King on the low block. That'll allow Trinity back into their press. Need to get it across quickly and just barely do. Travel on that one. Simonis was shuffling her feet as she caught the ball. Now Napoli and Mentor trying to get it across. Not much of a press there from Hardin-Simmons, but just enough pressure to make you work.
Well, it's enough to take time off that clock. So they're doing exactly what they want to do, not exerting too much energy on defense, but obviously couldn't stop Kylie Minter, who's been an absolute menace since coming back. She had 19 points last night, didn't get to play against ETBU about a week ago, but
and somehow gets the block there.
Magician, I say.
Yeah, Minter leading Trinity so far this season in scoring with 19 a game. And we're going to have a foul against the Cowgirls. And we're at 4:56, so that'll take us to the first media timeout. That last foul on Jack Helen Berry.
Yeah. I felt like that 5 minutes went by pretty fast, considering that the clock didn't really stop. There was bucket after bucket being made, and didn't feel like, it's very different from the men's game yesterday. It felt like there was a foul being called every minute, minute and a half. So, little different. I wonder if, I don't know, from a coaching perspective, if you kind of want to give Hardin-Simmons what they're doing. They're setting up in a zone, playing, you know, really foundational defense, not gambling at all. They're just making sure to get stops and making sure to gather the ball after every missed shot. Some teams don't like it when you give them a taste of their own medicine.
Yep. Yeah, and you're seeing the highlights for the first 5 minutes here. And what stands out, I think, for me is Shields. Trinity, I feel like, done a good job kind of rotating around on defense, but Shields has been there twice uncontested to clean up the low block. And so, you know, for Trinity, they don't really have a whole lot of down-low presence. They are more of an outside shooting team. They'll come down, shoot the 3, get back on defense, have some high pressure. So it'll be interesting to see if they will need to answer that, or if they can start having enough pressure up top to kind of get some more turnovers and try to go from there. But right now, Hardin-Simmons finding success with, knowing that even if they miss a shot, the second chance points are going to be there for them.
Most definitely. It's something new. We're going to see the Cowgirls set up in a little man there when they were taking it out on that sideline.
Maybe Savageau had checked in with Natalie Greenwood, and they were working on that combination. But Savageau could not get the layup to fall.
I think that's the 4th turnover. There it is.
The 4th team turnover. And so not necessarily coming up high like we saw last night, but still coming fairly regularly. That'd be on pace for around 30, 35 this game. Mentor, a little off balanced, and that is going to be off of Greenwood, so it'll go to Hardin-Simmons.
I think what's getting a little difficult and why we saw Shields pick up so many shots, it was out of the zone, and whenever the Cowgirls are breaking it, it's leaving our center back there alone for a 3-on-2 opportunity, usually a 2-on-1 opportunity, and she's going to get, sucked into wherever the ball's going to be, and her energy is just not going toward Shields, who's running rim to rim.
Right now for Hardin-Simmons, Williams, Ellsworth, Simonis, Gay, and Cooley, excuse me. And there'll be an offensive foul on Williams. So Madison Williams with her first. Trinity out there rolling with Napoli, Minter, Scott, Savageau, and Greenwood.
And it definitely looks like those Cowgirls are setting up in their man press now and then finishing in the half court with their man defense.
No basket traveling.
So they'll say that Napoli traveled on the pivot. Good job here from Hardin-Simmons breaking through. And once again from distance, it'll be Simonis, her second 3 of the day.
5'8" senior out of League City, Texas.
Tigers pass up the 2-on-1 in the paint. And they'll bring it out and stretch the clock. Napoli to Greenwood, top of the key, hands off Minter. Now with the drive. Shot too far, but a foul is going to be called, and we're going to stay here, as that one will be on number 25. It'll be Dana Coley. Casares checking in for Napoli. And Trinity will turn it over. Unforced on an inbounds pass underneath their own basket, and that's down 7, not the possession you want to have. Williams will bring it across, works her way into a trapped corner, able to get it away. And then we're going to have a travel from Mason Gay.
Coach Whitehead put her hands above her head saying, I can't believe it. That was a 3rd travel within this first quarter.
Yeah.
They're getting a little excited as soon as they beat that press.
Yeah, and they've all been travels.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things we haven't seen called an awful lot this year. And they're going to say that Savageau was stepping out as she caught the ball in the low corner. So
I feel like it's going back and forth.
A lot of mental errors at the moment, and not what I expected out of this game with how Trinity played 24 hours ago and what we expected from Hardin-Simmons coming in.
Yeah, they had a complete clinic just against Rhodes. That was, wow, they had 2 players. I mean, the same players that when they were talking about matchups earlier, whenever we played Schreiner last night, the 2 players that had 20 points when they played Schreiner early on in the season in November, it was Madison Williams and Jacqueline, there we go. Jacqueline Berry. They both had 20 points, and then last night, too, they also led the Cowgirls with over 15 points each.
So it was Cooley with the shot earlier. It was wide open. This is now Caroline Croft, and one starting to slip away from Trinity in a pretty negative way. We should mention that both of these teams have a pretty good bench. They go to the bench, at least Trinity goes to the bench quite often. Hardin-Simmons probably getting a lot more bench play with the fact that the majority of their games have been blowouts. But Hardin-Simmons is top 25 in the country in bench points per game. And Trinity a few points behind, but all the way down at 108. So, two of the top quarter of D3 in bench scoring, and there's another one here. And that'll be Allie Buchanan for the Cowgirls. Trying to see if our stats showed us bench scoring at a glance. Hardin-Simmons already with quite a few bench points.
Right now, I feel like the Cowgirls have only been scoring off of their transition points. It really hasn't been off of, an offensive set at the half-court level.
All right, so that's up ahead. Savingeau in transition, couldn't get the fall, but it's going to be Natalie Greenwood coming in with a big rebound. And then the no call, and it'll be...
I think they called a charge.
Yeah, okay, so there is the charge.
There, he's going to call it.
And that's what I was alluding to on the no call. It felt like it was kind of a push-off coming through.
It was a late whistle for sure.
Yeah.
It was one of those that they realized it, all of them together.
Sometimes you'll see that just not called, and the ball will just be the turnover.
Yeah.
Which, we've seen that quite a bit this year so far. But, yeah, you could easily see the foul there. As Greenwood will get the board and come right back. We're under a minute here, but Trinity will once again turn it over. Both teams with 7 turnovers. That inside for Buchanan. Couldn't get the handles. Hardin-Simmons will eventually kick it around. Cooley will miss from downtown. Simonis was there to stop Garces for the moment. Martin for 3, no good. The shot clock is off as Hardin-Simmons has a chance for the final shot, up 20-7. Croft is momentarily picked to get it back. And 3 at the buzzer is going to be good here from Dylan Cooley.
That one's going to be reviewed no matter what. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah, they'll review it, but that definitely counted.
Most definitely. I think Cameron Hill was arguing whether or not that was a 2. May have saw, or I think he saw that her foot was on the line. So they're obviously going to look at that, and then they're going to see that that shot was most definitely off before that buzzer.
Yeah, she definitely beat the buzzer, but not certain.
Yeah, I mean, like I said a couple seconds ago or minutes ago, I feel like it's just transition that's really killing the Tigers right now. Every time the Cowgirls are just beating that front press, it's a 2-on-1 situation, and if it's not a shot going up immediately, it's a cleanup right after that shot. So they just got to make sure, and if they're going to get out of that press, to hunker down and do well in defensive possessions in the half-court set. They're getting valuable shots, too, on offense. So it's not that either. But taking care of the ball is just going to be, one of those things that they needed on both teams, because we do have 7 turnovers within that first quarter. It's probably a point of emphasis that Coach Whitehead is going to make sure and tell her girls.
They are still looking at this review, as I can hear them in my ear. But they're trying to see if it was a 3, so they're going to continue. Okay. I think they're going to say it's insufficient evidence with it being right in front of us.
Yeah. Proven without a doubt.
Yep. And so, 16-point deficit here for Trinity. And
is that rebound count correct? 10-4.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Trinity has not been around the rim a whole lot today.
Well, I just feel like the Cowgirls are just making the bucket if they're not.
And they had quite a few early on. I mean, Shields was collecting a few early on and then putting them right back in. And so...
See that where those O boards are collected there.
Leads to a little bit of a disparity that you probably don't quickly think about, but... For the Tigers, back to the starting lineup. Napoli, Minter, Timmons, King, and O'Rourke to start. And Hardin-Simmons will continue to roll with Williams, Croft, Simonis, Cooley, and Shields. And Napoli will fire over Shields and has the bucket. So they have the second quarter lead at the moment with a lot of work ahead of them.
I mean, nothing's impossible. We saw them against Illinois Wesleyan. They had a huge turnaround. There was a 5-point swing that I vividly remember. It was a shot by Livy Savageau, excuse me, off that right wing. And then not even 2 seconds later, they try to inbound the ball, and Bailey Timmons is right there to put it back up. So, I mean, anything can really happen. 9 minutes is a lot of time.
Yep.
I mean, I could potentially expect a lead change here.
And that one blocked by King. And they're going to say that it's a shot clock violation before Minter took possession. So Trinity will be forced to inbound here. But Hardin-Simmons does not come up in pressure, so really no difference. Yeah, for Trinity, I think you're right. If they can work on some of their transition game and get that back under control, I think we can see at least a much closer contest. But that right there might be one of their Achilles heels for the rest of the game. They just seem like they're out of sync where they were in such good sync yesterday. So Hardin-Simmons coming in and, if nothing else, maybe having an effect, but not having an effect on Elaine King, who's got her second block here in the last minute.
Well, I mean, she's just such a defensive threat. I keep referencing the Illinois Wesleyan game, but I think her coming out in overtime was a big reason why they may not have closed that game out. Huge defensive presence, and obviously she's going to go up here, offensive presence as well.
Yeah, talked about it, midway through the first quarter. Trinity needed to find an answer down low, and right now King with an answer down low. Might have gotten away with a foul there, and now is it going to be a jump ball or a foul call?
I think there was a call.
Foul on Hardin-Simmons.
Yeah. That'll be Shields, I think.
Now quickly back is Skylar Rourke. Unorthodox layup, but it falls. And the Tigers have cut this from a 16-point lead to down to a 10-point lead.
It's one of those things you just got to chip away possession by possession. You're not going to get it done in a minute.
King will get hit with the foul. Cooley will go to the line. This happening without the bulk of Hardin-Simmons starters. So it's giving them an opportunity to rest, even though they have lost a little bit of the lead. It was such a lead that they could rest Barry. They could rest Ellsworth. Simonis is out there.
She picked up 2 early threes, too.
Her and Shields both with 6 points. Croft deflects it, and then Minter wisely just defends off Croft from being able to go get it.
In that last press break that the Tigers had whenever Bailey Timmons fed it to Skywork on that right post, I mean, the way you're going to beat this press is working it back and forth between the 2 guards that are on the top. And I know that Josie Napoli tried to, slash that one diagonally, but the safer play would have just been to hit Kylie Minter, whoever was back there with her, and then just work their way down incrementally.
Catch and shoot for Skylar Rourke. She's had the game's last 4 from the field.
She'll commit that foul at the half-court line.
Ellsworth had checked back in on the last dead ball for Hardin-Simmons. Croft picks up the dribble. For Ellsworth into the corner. Cooley. Pass was right at Shields' feet. Might have been for a kick. Deflected away by O'Rourke, so Hardin-Simmons can safely retreat and get it back. Croft, the running jumper. Back rim, no good. Shields. Been perfect so far from underneath. I guess she's now 4 for 5 on the day, but cleaning up the rebound opportunity right at the rim for the 3rd time. She has got 8 points.
Yeah, as soon as that shot goes up, Shields was just trying to fight for position when that hit the rim.
Beautiful back door will be ruined as Simmons can't connect. Now inside for Shields. And that will be a late whistle. See if they originally give it to King.
They're going to give that one to Skywork, I think.
O'Rourke that came in after. So you could probably give it to either one. I think King fouled there as well before the shot went through. And then O'Rourke on the secondary one. And quickly now with an opportunity for double figures is Shields, and she's got it. Been the difference so far.
Definitely, and those offensive rebounds, I mean, secondary shots can really kill momentum in any way that you see it.
Great backdoor look. Cutting on the baseline was O'Rourke. Now she'll shoot from 3, no good. And Shields with her 6th board of the day. Quickly getting into double-double territory here in the first half. Croft picks up her dribble. Cooley from distance, no good. Now Trinity will run. This will be Timmons. O'Rourke playing a nice shield. Blocks off the defender, and Timmons is able to get the layup.
Yeah, you need to chain together a couple of those possessions. It was a great stop, gathered by Kylie Minter, and then they hit a cross-court pass by, someone with great court vision, Josie Napoli.
Simonis from beyond the arc. Can't get that one to fall. Her first miss from downtown. Sky O'Rourke quickly back on the other end for Trinity. They have cut this lead into single digits for the first time in a long time.
You just got to get another stop right here. There we go.
All that King could do, kind of wait for that defender played off as a defender, so that way it wasn't an easy dump off to Shields.
Yeah, and I mean,
played that perfectly.
For sure. I mean, Elaine King is just a great, smart person. Her IQ is really like a point guard. And I know if we look back at that entire, press, there was a moment right there where she had 3 people that she had to guard in that backcourt, and she did it perfectly.
Hardin-Simmons didn't have the numbers. They kick it out to the wing, and that allowed Minter to come and deflect it out. And now we will reach the under 5 media timeout, and we will have a slew of changes for Hardin-Simmons when we come back to play. But if you get a good look at the field goal percentages there, that was significantly favoring Hardin-Simmons the last time we saw this graphic. And now Trinity clawing their way back into it. 9 of 22 shooting. Hardin-Simmons 11 of 25. Hardin-Simmons still with a few more three-point attempts, 3 of 7 compared to Trinity's 1 for 5.
Yeah.
And Trinity has not gotten to the line at all tonight.
No, but I mean, the really good thing, we're seeing them get to the rim, seeing them get to the basket.
Yep.
Last, 3 out of their 4 shots, maybe 4 out of their 5 have been inside that paint, and Skywork showing that she can do it best. 6 points, probably picked up within the last 2 minutes, and then we see a great drive by Bailey Timmons there on your screen. I mean, they're going to just, if they want to get back into this game, continue to cut this deficit, they're just going to have to continue to keep chaining together a lot of those possessions where there's deflections, there's pickups. You have to box out and finish those possessions, because Shields is one of those players that can go in and really disrupt any offensive possession that the Cowgirls have by picking up that O rebound and giving them a second chance opportunity.
Saw 4 assists and 7 turnovers for Hardin-Simmons. They are one of the best in the nation at the assist-to-turnover ratio. So Trinity doing an excellent job forcing the turnover and then basically forcing either an up-tempo or a slow tempo, depending on how you look at it at certain times, but keeping Hardin-Simmons away from the ball movement that would allow them to get the assist that they're typically looking for.
Oh yeah, and I think that was their 4th consecutive stop, something that you really want to see coming out of a timeout.
It's Timmons. And another travel. That one with Maddie Mueller checking in for the first time today.
I think some of these travels may, on both sides, may come from the fact that they're switching up between, man and zone pretty quickly. So you never know who's going to be coming up, who's going to be coming from which side of help. But
quick shot for Simonis. Couldn't get the corner 3. There's Minter with the board. Saved it in for Napoli, and the Tigers, they can get each possession down. If they can average maybe a point, point and a half, they'll be in great shape, and that'll help. Kylie Minter with a 3. She's got 9.
It's good to see her back in action, especially in Calgary.
That already calculated for you. Yeah, as you mentioned, 19 yesterday. Did not play in the ETBU game when they played at the end of December. Looks back to regular form after missing that one. And 2 misses on this attempt for Simonis. And Trinity has cut this lead back to 6. They lead the second quarter by 10 points as we are about 3 minutes left to play here in the half. And that probably was a travel, but it'll fall for Napoli. She put it on her hip and then took an extra step, but Tiger fans won't mind the non-call, and it's a 4-point game. Kind of the game that maybe we expected to see this whole time.
Now it just feels like the energy in the gym has really shifted. That was going to be, I think, their 6th possession on defense where they have gotten a consecutive stop.
They'll tag Minter with the foul, her second, or excuse me, her first.
And the 3 upperclassmen, Josie Napoli, Bailey Timmons, and Kylie Minter will step out potentially for the remainder of this second quarter from what we've seen from Cameron Hill.
And this is a big moment here for Trinity. They really do need to have the reserves come in and keep the game where it's at.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I expect nothing less. There's 2 great freshmen that are great at ball handling, Jivy Caceres and Livy Savageau, who have proven that they don't play like freshmen. So I'm sure they'll do just fine.
Mason Gay knocks down 1 of 2. Now Trinity back for a 3. Corner of the glass deflected around. And here comes Williams. Madison Williams taking it all the way, couldn't complete it. But she'll go to the line to shoot 2. This foul will be on Savageau. And that will put Trinity at 5 fouls, so we'll be in the bonus after this as well.
Even though that last possession didn't exactly click or the ball didn't go through that net, it was a great look, you know, initially a cross-court pass by Livy Savageau to find Maddie Muller. They can just find open opportunities like that, they're going to fall. And it was a good offensive set, just didn't go in favor for them.
Yeah, the goal is to get open looks.
Yeah.
Get the open look. It's a good possession. 1 of 2 for Williams. And Trinity back down to being behind by 6. But they will be very happy with their performance here in this quarter, assuming that it doesn't fall apart towards the very end. Off the rim to the glass, back through, nothing but net for Mueller, and it's a 3-point game, 2:08.
And that's what shooters do. She may not have hit the other one in the best manner, but she was ready to shoot it again, and she had a great little friendly shooter's bounce off the top of the rim.
Allie Buchanan had 2 Tigers she was trying to fend off and couldn't quite corral the rebound. That one's going to go off of her. 1:59 left to play, and Trinity with a chance on this possession to tie the game.
I think this was actually the lineup, or part of the lineup, that got them that lead against Illinois Wesleyan. And Olivia Savageau was a big part of that. So was Natalie Greenwood. That was one of her best games that we've seen her play here in Calgary.
Martin will be tagged for the foul, trying to come in. Greenwood. One of the things I think Trinity really needs to shore up if they're going to get back into the national conversation is points within that semicircle down low. And just too many missed layups for a team that should be in the top 25, has been perennially in the conversation for a top 25 throughout the years.
Yeah.
You're just giving away too many points at crucial times, and then this leading to a foul. It changes the complexity of the game in a lot of ways. So if they can really turn that corner through the rest of the year, you know, if they get a chance to make the postseason, they could find themselves being a pretty dominant force once again.
No, and I definitely agree, especially when you're riding momentum. You have to know where your body's at all times of the floor. And then obviously a lot of these players are very capable, have great IQ. It really is just finishing possessions where you have good looks.
Saris with the running layup attempt. Couldn't get it to fall. But a fairly decent look at it. And Barry will go back the opposite way, and you can see Cameron Hill's frustration, not that the foul was called because it was a foul, but because it was almost a mirror play of what was just on the other side.
He's probably going to plead his case right here with this ref, even though that was not going to be her call on the other end. Some might say ball don't lie.
Yeah, well, you see that so many times with officials and coaches. Like, it's not that they're arguing that that wasn't a foul.
Yeah.
It's just that they're like, we
want consistency.
like 2 seconds before on the other end, it was a mirror image of that play.
Yeah.
And get a different outcome. It's frustrating.
Most definitely. In one way, it's like a reward for a player being aggressive, getting to the basket. Got just as much contact, if not more, on one end of the court, and then you're rewarding somebody else, especially an opponent, with the same call that should have and potentially could have been called.
And they get together here and award Trinity the ball. I think that was the right call. Yeah, and I think also you want aggressive basketball.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as a fan, as a spectator of the sport, you want to see the aggressiveness from everybody.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to penalize that too much. So there is a balancing act that you have to go through.
Hey, being a ref is not something that I would want to do. I'll tell you that right now.
Not. Shot clock at 3. And off the back rim, no good for Scott. Hardin-Simmons looking to maybe push this beyond the 5-point lead. In and out, no good. That shot blocked. And once again, Barry will collect, so got a free rebound in there. And there is a foul there, and both players hit the deck hard. And Saris was a little slow to get up. It looked like maybe she was holding her.
She may have got blood. Doesn't want to get on her white jersey.
Yeah, her wrist. So we will have a momentary pause, and she will be our shooter. Or is that an inbound play? No, they'll just sub her out. Scott looking for somebody. Savageau and Ivory Scott, top of the key for Trinity. Now they kick it around. Maddie Mueller, corner 3. No good. Rebound temporarily to Scott. And yeah, okay. Don't want to be official because every time you make a call, it's going to be complained by somebody.
Most definitely.
That was a tough one to call.
Yeah.
So to the line will go Hardin-Simmons.
Yeah, that was one of those plays that was just, it bounced awkwardly off the rim. You have 2 players going for it at the same time. One just happened to hit the deck. So it may have been an instinctual whistle by the ref.
Ellsworth to the line. They've got a 7-point lead, 9.5 to play. Trinity will insert Ivy Meharry for presence down low. And Ellsworth knocks down the first. So back to an 8-point lead, but Trinity's cut that first quarter deficit in half at this point.
9 seconds left. Libby Savageau was in this position yesterday.
Still a chance to get a shot here before the end. Libby Savageau again steps inside and knocks down the jumper here once again. And it's only 2 points, but it draws that deficit in just a little bit more and gives you a little bit more confidence heading to the locker room. 36-29, and I know that they need to look at every buzzer beater technically, but that one
definitely that was more for sure than the first quarter.
So we know that one will count. 36-29, Hardin-Simmons. You've got the halftime stats on your screen, and see what adjustments the coaches can make and what we have in store for us in the second half. We'll return in about 14 minutes and bring you the second half. And welcome back here for the start of the second half. It's going to be the same starting five for both. And so that'll mean that Jaqueline Berry, Madison Williams, Kylie Ellsworth, Aiken Simonis, and Kenan Shields will be out there for the Cowgirls. And for the Tigers, Josie Napoli, Kylie Minter, Bailey Timmons, Elaine King, and Sky O'Rourke. Hardin-Simmons with a 7-point advantage. They were 9 of 14 from the foul stripe in the opening frame. And Trinity was 0 for 0. Hadn't had a chance to get to the foul stripe just yet. Berry kicks out for Simonis and back to Berry. Good ball movement. Finds Williams. Front rim no good, but it Shields once again over King, who was inside the semicircle, so that will be a non-contestable foul. Shields was working her way to a double-double now with 8 rebounds to go along with her 10 points.
And those are cut even with offensive rebounds as well. We saw in that first half that majority of her putback points came from, offensive rebounds where no one really just boxed her out. I know Elaine King attempted on this last possession, but she's always there, reads a ball well off that rim.
Yeah, she's got 4 offensive, 4 defensive, and is perfect from the foul line at 4 of 4. 12 points on the day, 4 of 5 shooting down low. Hardin-Simmons, one of the best field goal percentage shooting teams in the country. And they started off really hot, shooting almost 60% early on as Timmons will get the easy layup there. But it has not been that case the rest of the way. They got 36% shooting through the half. And that was testament to the change in defensive approach that Trinity implemented there in the second quarter. Now it's going to be Williams. Good look, wide open 3, in and out, no good. And King shielded off Shields, and that allowed Minter to grab another rebound.
It's a big stop right there. Let's see if they can convert here. It really is zone defense against zone defense. Who can puncture the paint the best, read off the high post well, and really just finish when shots are open, because in zone defenses, usually people become out of position pretty quickly, especially when a team isn't, clicking on all cylinders and communication isn't there. So open shots are going to be there for both teams.
And the rare free throw attempt on the afternoon here for Trinity, and Elaine King's perfectly through the cylinder.
I think that's where the deficit or differentiation was in that first half, because attempts at the basket were pretty similar. It's just the fact that the Cowgirls got to the free throw line and they made majority of those shots.
Good attempt at the stop there for Trinity. And they'll get the overall stop on defense, and now a chance to break out. Sky O'Rourke puts in the easy 1-foot shot. And Trinity's kept this back to a 4-point lead. Once again, Minter and Napoli causing havoc. And a great move by Shields, but she can't finish it off. Almost taken away. Now Ellsworth into the paint, knocks it down. A big possession for Hardin-Simmons as Trinity was coming back, and they give themselves a little bit more breathing room as the last time it got down to 4 points, they were able to stretch it back to 9. We'll see what they do on this one. It'll be Timmons. Good look at 3, but it's going to be short. King couldn't deflect it out, and here comes Hardin-Simmons once again. And Ellsworth can't finish, and deflected out. I'm going to say Hardin-Simmons was the one that slapped it downward, and it'll be Trinity ball.
They really are matching up zone press to zone press. It may be a different formation, but the concepts are still pretty much the same. I know that they're not eager, to trap or get a double off of anything, but you just slow down the offense and take some time off that clock for either opponent.
Trinity had a few unforced errors in the first half. There's another one there. It's a good press so far, but Hardin-Simmons seems to have just enough to beat it every time. And Sky O'Rourke will take another foul. It'll be her third.
It's really difficult in zone presses. You can't gamble too much because that means that secondary defense is going to have to help, and then it'll put people in that tertiary level of that defense in a bad position like we just saw here.
And first miss for Shields at the line. And couldn't complete either of them, so technically a stop. But once again, Trinity gives it away, and those are starting to become mental turnovers there. There's no reason to try to make that pass through the defender, and a quick turnaround bucket for Hardin-Simmons as Williams now has 3 points on the day.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why they got closer into this game and cut the deficit by so much was because they were playing good fundamental basketball, not making, scary plays where, you're skipping the ball across the court or you're making a risky pass or taking a risky defensive play. And there we go. It's a tip for tap moment right here.
Yeah, Skylar Rourke puts in 2, but then comes back on the other side and watches Simonis knock down her 3rd three-pointer of the day. She's got 9 points. And King cross court. You can't throw that pass against that zone. Talked about that in the first half. It looks like it's there, but it is definitely not. And it's Williams once again coming back. She's now got 5 on the day.
With a great acrobatic finish.
Trinity looks a bit tired out there right now. They're still able to penetrate through the zone. Minter couldn't get the first to fall. Gets the shooter's roll on that one, and Trinity will stay within striking distance, now down 9.
That foul is going to probably be on one of the Cowgirls. Yeah, that is. Madison Williams gets called for that foul after Josie Napoli got a deflection, and they kind of fought for it a little bit.
Foul number 2, Madison Williams, that's her 3rd. Team foul 2, Ivory Scott for Trinity.
Napoli looks like she's
He got hit in the jaw.
hit in the jaw or has some pain. Cam's trying to say, come on out, and Ivory Scott's going to go in for her. She goes and gets looked at. Well, you can tell the type of player Napoli is. She did not want to come out for that. Savageau checking in as well. Buries the 3, so Trinity had gone down 11. They bring it back to 6. Back-to-back plays.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of ticking away, within these next. That's a 3-possession game right there, if not 2. So you get 2 stops on defense. You got to convert them twice. But it starts with a stop.
Yeah, and Barry showing why she's one of the team leaders for the Cowgirls. Knocking that one down, she's got 7. And it's not always about how many you score, it's about what you score and when you score it. And that was a pretty big shot there for Hardin-Simmons.
Exactly.
Every time it seems like Trinity's just got enough momentum going their way, Hardin-Simmons able to come up with that shot that they need.
Yeah.
Timeout on the floor at 4:57, the media timeout. And you see the field goal percentage, Trinity's still up on Hardin-Simmons now, but Hardin-Simmons starting to come back a little bit here in this quarter. Up to 40% on the day.
It really is just those turnovers. Those 4 turnovers have definitely been, we saw it a couple possessions ago over here. I think Skylar worked through a turnover, and it was just an immediate conversion for Hardin-Simmons. It didn't even cross a half-court line. And, stuff like that just really can't happen if you want to make this cut of a deficit.
Trinity also out blocking the Cowgirls 5-0. So if you add, kind of point for point, it's 9-13 turnovers, Trinity to 13. Some of those blocks have had to go Trinity's way on the possession. So not officially ruled as turnovers, but
yeah,
effectively they were. So
yeah, I would consider those defensive stops.
Yeah, and they were pretty close there. So not getting to the line in the first half definitely has kind of put Trinity in this spot. And they're 16 attempts short of what Hardin-Simmons is at. Because Hardin-Simmons, 11 of 18, Trinity just 1 for 2.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just the style in which the two teams are playing. We saw it last night where there was a huge free throw disparity where it was because most of the fouls were happening in the same paint.
Yeah.
But Trinity committing a foul 90 feet away from the basket, but also going to the line because they were basically getting the ball right there. And again, those are passes in this zone you don't want to make. Everything that they got back into this game with was short passes, as you were talking about early on, working the ball around, and now they're trying to make the quick, one pass to get us a bucket type of a play, and that just hasn't worked all night.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Coach Cameron will talk about this later. Whether this is a man or it's a zone, you have to make sure that the ball is getting touches inside the arc. You're not going to make your defender move when you're just passing it, monkey in the middle outside of the three-point line, or potentially trying to make a diagonal pass because they just have time to read it.
But those are the long passes that are working when you do them in transition. And Savageau, once again, Trinity brings it back to a 6-point game.
That's going to stay here with Trinity. That was definitely caused by Ivory Scott and Livy Savageau. They just caused chaos right there, and the ball's right back with them.
And now one of the worst places to inbound a ball from. And a foul against Hardin-Simmons. That'll be Allie Buchanan fouling Livy Savageau.
That'll be their 4th foul, one more. It puts Trinity in a great position to get some free throws in for the next couple of minutes left in this third quarter.
Now more traditional inbound play here for the Tigers. A nice Euro step for Savageau, finding Minter on the wing, trying to work it back across. No, they tried to go back short corner to Minter. Ooh, that was really close over.
I was about to say.
And Hardin-Simmons will finish that off. So every time Trinity cuts it in, Hardin-Simmons has the answer. And that's one of the reasons why they are still highly ranked here in Division III.
I feel like especially at this level, athleticism may not be the thing that's making a team better, definitely, against a matchup, but playing fundamental basketball at this level and making sure that you're converting off of your stops is what's making teams, be so high within their ranking. I mean, we saw that with Illinois Wesleyan when they made their comeback here, and then we're seeing it right here with Hardin-Simmons. They're not making extra passes that are unnecessary, converting on any opportunity that they can, and making sure when there is a turnover, they're getting a good offensive possession and a good look out of it.
Lane King will pick up that rebound. Allie Buchanan was standing at the three-point line when the shot went up, but Lane King didn't look for anybody to box out, just tried to follow the ball. Did not work out for her, and so Hardin-Simmons with the launch here before the shot clock violation, and they're going to call it a shot clock violation.
Great defensive 3 seconds by Trinity. Now they just got to use that. Offense is generated off of defense. So, just use this momentum. It's a good mentality switch. You can see, I'm about to say, I was like, she was kind of eyeing Bailey Timmons, inching around that baseline.
Cooley cannot believe the call. It'll be an opportunity for Trinity to get an and one. The first opportunity of the day for them, and it'll be Bailey Timmons to the line with 12:54 left to go in the game for the first and one opportunity.
It's very different from what we saw yesterday. I mean, those girls went to the line, Trinity, went to the line a number of times because they were just so aggressive to the basket.
Trinity 4 of their last 4 from the field. Now 2 of 3 from the line. They're 4 of 4 from the field, but 5 of the last 6 for Hardin-Simmons. So they're making their shots, but they're also giving up the answers on the other side. And bringing it across is Barry.
I think they're going to settle down into their man.
Maybe try something as you've given up 5 of the last 6 shots. Scott maybe with a pump fake there. Greenwood will corral with the low block, but she picks up her dribble in a very bad spot. And I'm surprised maybe they didn't call timeout there to reset that. It would have been a great time down 5. And Barry will go down the other way, and we're going to get a foul called against Trinity, and it'll be against Scott. And I don't want to say those are late calls, but the whistles are so late. It's almost as if they're looking to see if the shot falls before they call the whistle. I don't know what the change is, but it's from a fan's perspective and not as a commentator at this point.
Yeah.
But that's one of the most annoying things is like blow the whistle when the foul occurs and let the play continue on, but don't wait until the ball's going up for a rebound to see what you're going to call.
Yeah. It also feels like a moment of just being unsure.
Yeah.
And you like confident calls. And obviously the ones that are pretty obvious, you want them to be called no matter what. But these late whistles definitely feel like they're not in favor of Trinity right now.
Into the corner. Now Savaggio takes a step, can't get the shot to fall. Rebound for Williams, she's cut. Simonis wide open, that's gonna be a turnover that wasn't deflected.
There we go. Coach Whitehead's wanting the tip. Kind of lets that one go.
Pretty sure I did not see that. That just went right through. It's an awkward pass to begin with. Under 2 to play here in the third quarter. And Josie Napoli, I just feel like he's trying to force way too many things to happen. And Trinity has an opportunity here. They've got enough time to kind of get back into everything, but it's just trying to make the passes through too hard, too quickly.
Yeah, and I think that's a mentality shift too. You know, you got close to 12 minutes left in this game. You know, you're not going to, have a change in this game within a possession. So you just got to let the game come to you. I think that's the best offense that we see come from the Tigers, when they let the offense come to them.
Williams just short, lined up nicely for it. Now Ivory Scott, she's going to take it the distance, gets the roll and the foul.
Another late whistle, this one in favor of Trinity, but another and one. Let's see if
and the foul
Ivory
will
Scott
go
can
against
finish.
Shields. That'll be her third.
As a former teammate inside, I saw that no one was picking her up, and I was like, go, go, go. She's got a strong first step.
Can't complete, but the lead back to 4. Trinity has not been able to get it under 4. They've been at 4 3 times since the second quarter. And now an opportunity here with possession to find a way to cut this into a... Okay, sorry. Technically, a 4-point lead is a single possession. But,
it is.
But
in the
realistically, it's not. So
you never know. Hey,
chance,
Illinois Wesleyan hit a 3.
A chance to make this a single possession game for real, and Natalie Greenwood does. Now it'll be Croft. I think Barry's got to find something here. As that one's a turnover, picked it from Cooley. Napoli, kick out, Savaggio. Greenwood on the baseline. They've gone inside to get back into this one, and we are tied with Natalie Greenwood finding her 4th point.
Feels like every game she plays back here in CalGuard, she just gets way more confidence, and the screen didn't catch her, but she just let out an emphatic roar.
Well, the student section might just be the men's team and a sprinkle
those are swimmers
from the swim team, but they are doing their best to be as loud as possible.
You have some of the men's team here too. Yeah, you're right. They just had, was that Pizza Classics?
Yeah, they decided just to have lunch and dinner here in the stands. O'Rourke can't give Trinity the lead. Now Hardin-Simmons will look to take it back. Croft dribbles inside the paint, picks up her dribble. Williams at the top. Williams behind the screen of Shields, couldn't get enough on it, and it'll be out of play. Trinity ball with .7, so there's enough time to catch and shoot, but it's got to be pretty quick turn. And not going to be able to get it off, but an excellent quarter for Trinity, all things considered, as they have clawed their way back. They trailed by 16 at the end of 10 minutes to start. At the end of 30 minutes, we are square away at 52.
Yeah.
And that should be an exciting 4th quarter finisher.
Oh yeah, mentality-wise, this is a 0-0 game right now. You got a clean slate. You're coming off of some momentum for Trinity. I just want to point out right here that if you saw this last defensive possession, Ivory Scott, she really just guarded 3 people, switching through everybody, and she just read everything kind of perfectly, and then lastly contested that shot. And I mean, it was just a great defensive possession by Ivory Scott.
Yeah, it's sort of been an energetic change from Scott. I think that the play that, stands out for me is she picked it up and took it coast to coast and drew the and one foul. Didn't complete it, but it was the mentality of, I'm going to take this all the way and make the shot and put, if nothing else, put another foul on the board for Hardin-Simmons.
Yeah.
Slow the game down just a touch for us to kind of get our composure back and get back into this one.
Yeah. And we talked about this coming out of that half. Getting to the free throw line was that main differentiation coming into this third quarter. And we saw that Trinity got to the line. And because they got to the line, it's a tie game. So everything is pretty on par. It's 52-52, 10 minutes left in the game. It's all or nothing.
And incredible finish there from Madison Williams. She gets into the lane. Very similar to what we were talking about. Ivory Scott taking it all the way in, putting up the shot. And a chance to take this to a 3-point lead once again here for Hardin-Simmons. Williams on the day, 7 points, 3 of 10 shooting. Most of those have been misses from beyond the arc, and she's now 2 of 3 from the line for 8 points. And it is a 3-point lead once again for Hardin-Simmons. Two, 3, keeping Trinity up around the arc. They have not kicked it in yet. They tried and got kicked out by Barry.
One of those possessions where you go back to fundamentals, especially when you want to give an entry pass to that short corner or any type of block. You want to give an up fake, maybe a little jab, get your defender reacting off of you.
Another turnover here from Trinity. And that'll be Croft far side. Nobody picked her up. Shields will have an easy lay-in. She's got 14, quickly a 5-point lead once again.
If that was a men's game, it would have probably been a dunk.
Natalie Greenwood coming alive here in the last few minutes. Williams might have been better to just take that all the way herself. Instead, tried to give up the pass to Shields, the turnover, but then she comes back on defense. And if nothing else, prevents the layup attempt here from Timmons as she deflects that one out of bounds.
That one on Bailey Timmons' behalf probably should have just been, like, she just should have gone up. She's really athletic, could have jumped over her defender.
Greenwood inside, kick around. Napoli for the tie. In and out, won't fall. Shields now has her double-double, 14 and 10 boards. Corner. Simonis can't find it. And that, but interesting. She dribbled on this side, took it across, and they still counted the tip. Simonis can't get the 3 to fall.
Feels like she's been a little cold since that first quarter. She hit too early.
Too early, a good shooter from downtown.
But, I mean, you can't discount her out. Shooters are going to shoot, especially when the game's on the line.
And good shooters will usually start knocking those down towards the end as well. Going all the way in and getting the friendly roll will be Sky O'Rourke. And Trinity brings it back to a 1-point deficit. And they bring back their press. Croft working a 3-on-2. Simonis buries the 3.
We just talked about it. That's that announcer magic.
Well, as you said, shooters, if they just keep shooting,
Percentage-wise, they should be going.
If you're, roughly 30, 40% shooter, you're going to get those to fall. Makes it a 4-point game. O'Rourke might have been worried about getting the travel call, didn't put it up with a lot of authority. And then somehow that wasn't a foul, and Bailey Timmons will put it in as Shields gets picked. Back to a 2-point game. And Williams going
They wanted a little bit of push-off.
Trinity won't get the push-off, but they will get the rebound. And Napoli, again, probably could do better with just short, accurate passing. A lot of hers have come up empty lately.
There we go.
Simonis not liking the call, but I think she knew it from the start. And I feel like this is the game here in the fourth quarter that we thought we might be seeing coming into 6 o'clock tip-off. You know, records-wise, you look at Trinity, you see the losses to the ASC teams, but not truly indicative of maybe where they're at.
No, not at all.
They've played really well against, as we said, number 3 in the country, Illinois Wesleyan. Probably could have won that game. It went to overtime after Illinois Wesleyan kind of hit the buzzer beater to send it there. As Minter will make it a 1-point game by hitting 1 of 2.
If it wasn't for that Illinois Wesleyan 4-point play, you never know.
The one time it happens.
I know.
This will be Croft finding Williams.
Travel.
And travel call. And that's the travel that I think we've seen taken out of the game being called in the last 2 years. A couple of years ago.
Well, it's happened like 6 times here today.
Yeah, and it is the shuffle of the feet, but it's the call that I think has widely disappeared. Like, there have been some legitimate travels here, but it's the, you know, that little half step that used to be called, 40 times a game.
Yeah.
Inside to Green, and, if Hardin-Simmons holds on here, Madison Williams into the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter is the reason why. Both sides of the ball. She starts that break with the turnover, and Simonis finishes it, and back to a 3-point lead. Madison Williams really turning it up with the intensity and just the technical play, especially on defense.
I feel like that was one of those possessions where you may want to see the ball move around the horn a little bit more. I know Bailey Timmons got a little puncture into that left elbow range, but just want to see that ball move a little bit more.
Ellie Buchanan with the foul call. Trinity with a chance once again. Another turnover.
That was one of those possessions, too, where it really just felt like a monkey in the middle moment. Everybody was outside that arc. If you are going to have Kylie Minter staying in one, like in the corners, because she's such a good shooter, have her run, have her run that baseline, have the defense, be aware of her.
And tipped out from behind by Savageau, and it'll be 17 on the clock as Hardin-Simmons will inbound. Williams all the way to the rim, can't get it to fall. Buchanan underneath has the and one, and Trinity, if they're going to come back in this game, have got to find an answer down low on the defensive rebounding, and they've got to stop making these fouls down low for these and one opportunities. They've given up quite a few here in the final 8 minutes so far of this one to this point.
It just feels like they're just watching the ball a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So they need to have a sense of urgency. Not that they don't have it innately, but just to level it up a little bit, especially when we're looking into reaching a media timeout, maybe coming out of that with a little bit, fresher eyes and fresher legs.
Greenwood will grab the board, so the foul doesn't hurt this trip down. And Kings check back in. Savageau pops from the elbow, back rim no good. Rebound King. Kylie Minter for 3, and that'll rattle in. Makes it a 2-point game once again. Trinity was able to tie this one at the quarter break, but they have not been able to take a lead since all the way back. Actually, they haven't had a lead at all in this game. And Simonis, we talked about, she'll get going eventually. She's now 5 of 12 from downtown, 19 points.
Shoot or shoot. She felt it. She was in rhythm. She let it fly.
Savageau driving, Little floater, no good. Greenwood will get called for the over the back.
That'll be her, was that her third or fourth? That'll be her fourth.
That'll be her fourth foul. That'll take us to the under 5 immediate timeout, final one of regulation. And see the shooting percentages there. It hasn't mattered that much for Hardin-Simmons. And the difference still being in free throws, 13 of 22 for Hardin-Simmons, just 3 of 6 for Trinity.
Yeah. A little bit different of a lineup with Natalie Greenwood and Elaine King kind of in together. I know that both of them are pretty good at, occupying that high post area. We've seen a little bit more from Natalie Greenwood, but back to the basket's what got them back into this game, especially late in that third and early in this fourth quarter. But we'll see if there's going to be a lineup change coming from Cameron Hill heading into these last 4.5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, you see by these replays, with the exception of Simonis knocking down threes from the outside, Hardin-Simmons is scoring because they're doing it inside. So if King and Greenwood are on the floor, it's probably because the coaching staff looking at it saying, we can stop the inside presence there, force them to shoot the three to get, their points. Might have a shot here with 4:37 left, down 5.
I honestly would not be surprised if Cameron Hill told them to go into a man, maybe switch it up a little bit because they are shooting so many threes. And once you have a defensive wrist, what you talked about this earlier too, like secondary and tertiary points of defense are having to step up and then help is wide open. So a zone is one of those risky business plays or risky business, choices. But I don't know if they're gonna settle down into a man. I think they are.
It'll be Williams once again. Top of the key, keeping that one alive for Hardin-Simmons as they bring it across just before the 10-second violation. Ellsworth kicks it back in for Shields. Greenwood just stands there, and Shields will put it in. 69-62 lead here for the Cowgirls.
Post players, especially centers, fives, their work begins as soon as they hit that paint, and you have to fight for position throughout the entire possession. So that's one of those possessions where it's kind of difficult, and you also don't want to foul. I know Natalie Greenwood has 4. Don't want to get yourself out of the game.
And a foul here on Ellsworth will send Josie Napoli to the line to shoot 3. Yeah, and it's one of those things, if you're Hardin-Simmons, with Greenwood still on the floor, it's kind of like, checkers or chess. Sometimes you just make the move to get it off the board. If you can send it inside on the next 2 or 3 possessions for Shields, might draw that final foul on Greenwood, and eliminate her from this contest.
Yeah.
So Napoli knocks in the first 2.
It's a strategy that maybe Coach Whitehead has told her players too. Obviously, they're very aware of where the foul count is right now. The only people that are in major jeopardy are, I think it is just Elaine King and Natalie Greenwood. Elaine King has 3 and Natalie Greenwood has 4.
And Savageau tried to come up on the outside. Maddie Williams felt the presence, switched it back to her left hand on the inside, and Savageau just, all she could do was kind of run through it.
And that'll be their 4th. 1 more committed, and they'll be at bonus for the rest of this game, which is something they do not want to see come from the Cowgirls.
Although Hardin-Simmons just shooting 59%, so if it's that or giving up the Simonis 3, maybe you start fouling. There's 22 points on the game now for Simonis.
She's made her last 3 from that right wing.
And answering right back will be Kylie Minter. She's got 15. She's 4 of 4 from downtown.
It's that Minter magic.
Barry will hand off to Ellsworth. Over to Williams. Nice little slash pop from Barry, and she loses that out of bounds. Trinity ball. A vaunted 4-point lead here for Hardin-Simmons.
Natalie Greenwood will check out with Livy Savageau for Bailey Timmons and Sky O'Rourke. Sky O'Rourke had a pretty good start to this second half. See if she can extend this going to the last 3 minutes.
O'Rourke also with 3 fouls on the day, but Trinity's got their starting 5 back in. Good cut from O'Rourke. And reverse layup can't fall, but she'll grab her own rebound because everybody else went too deep underneath the rim to get it. Now
And
for
one.
King and one. And
has a chance to make it a 1-point game.
You've played this game long enough, you just get that feeling on those.
that was
You called that and one before she shot it.
Oh yeah, I did. That was one of those as a teammate kind of just slipped out. But it's hard to say every time too. Like Kylie Minter shoots it, you just want to go money, but you can't really say that all the time.
Although between what Simonis is doing the last few attempts and the way that Minter has been shooting the ball the entire game, it just feels like when shooters are there, you're exactly right. Just let it fly. It's a 1-point game as Lane King gets the 3-point play. Now Simonis for Ellsworth, inside for Shields. And that's a block from Elaine King.
And they're going to call the jump on that one. Oh, inadvertent whistle potentially. There we go, jump ball.
And possession arrow favors Trinity, so they will have the opportunity here to take the lead for the first time all evening.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
You can lead for 1 second in the entire game. And if it's at the end of the game, that's all you need. King at the high post. Over inside, Bailey Timmons. Trinity leads 73-72.
Those last two possessions have really just been generated off puncturing that paint, making sure that a defense, like one of those Hardin-Simmons defenders is coming up for help and then just dumping it off and making the smart play.
Williams with an absolutely fantastic move, just could not get it to fall, and then Shields couldn't get the layup to fall in either, so everything coming up Trinity except for that. Sky O'Rourke loses it out. A great defensive play from Jaqueline Berry to give the possession back to Hardin-Simmons. 101 seconds left to play. Hope you're enjoying this one. Didn't start off as something that we thought might come down to this. 23-7, Hardin-Simmons advantage after the first quarter, but Trinity has clawed their way back into it. Now Hardin-Simmons needing a bucket to take the lead once again. And it's an and one for Shields, and she's got 18 to go along with 12 boards here this evening.
As a former teammate slash player, that one's kind of a little bit of a disbelief because Elaine King maintained complete vertical position. I thought that Shields was actually the one that hit her within the chest plate. I mean, it's obviously legal, but that's what caused her, you know, to potentially break that vertical plane. That was one of those iffy calls.
Yeah, if you get too low below that circle, though, that's where that gets you in trouble. And it looks like Trinity's going to take a timeout. No, Hardin-Simmons with the timeout.
Both of them still with, I'm sure that's 3 now for Hardin-Simmons.
At different times, ball control, taking it to the rim, finding open shooters, you know, working it inside, just kind of everything you need from a basketball point of view to get the job done. And now Trinity's answer, if they've got one. Napoli bringing up the near side, the 2-3 zone from Hardin-Simmons. O'Rourke, 30 feet from the basket, 14 on the clock. Trinity hasn't brought it inside the arc yet. Now under 10. And they will come inside. Mentor, stop shot, no good. Rourke, Skylar Rourke ties it at 75. Just got enough of the fingertips to control the rebound and have the putback layup in. Now Williams working on Napoli. Switch off, Cooley. Now looks, finds Simonis. 17 on the shot clock, 21 differential between the shot and the game. Williams kick out, Cooley back to Williams. She'll shoot the 3, got it.
Wow.
Great ball movement, and Trinity will have an opportunity if they want it with the shot clock off to tie for overtime. Although I feel as if you need to probably score a 2 early if you can. But instead they'll kick it around. Far side almost out of bounds. Now O'Rourke working her way in. Will scoop up and under, no good, and they've got a foul. And realizing that is going to be Minter, and she'll come in. And 6.2 left on the clock. Trinity will send Hardin-Simmons to the line for the 1-and-1, and they desperately need the Cowgirls to miss.
Oh, 6 seconds left. I'm sure, this happened, similar situation against the Illinois Wesleyan game. Timeouts left. I don't know if Cameron Hill's in a motion to the ref. I think he just did. He's going to want to take a timeout, potentially advance this ball. They're going to have 6 seconds left at the half-court level.
Jack Kellenberry with the shot and gets it to roll in. So no 1-and-1s in the women's game anymore. It's 2 shots after you hit the bonus of 5 fouls in the quarter. Second one misses, and the timeout comes. So a 4-point game, and now decision time.
It's a battle of X's and O's right now.
Yeah, you still have timeouts, but you're going to have to be almost perfect with your execution. You need 2 possessions because you can't count on a foul. So you've got to potentially get a quick inside play and then a quick foul and hope that they make 1 of 2 again.
Yes. That's a chance right now, but I'm sure something Cameron Hill has up his sleeve. We'll see what's going to go on. Honestly, I can see him potentially going for the 3 if it's wide open. You're going to want to keep it on this side of the court because it's going to take a long time, especially in the air, to put anything cross-court or come off of its screen. I don't know what he may be drawing up. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of off-ball screens, potentially like a box set or potentially like a stagger coming from the other side. You're going to want to see somebody coming off of that arc. But
and the key will be what defense they have, because a foul probably won't cut it with 5 seconds left. They're probably going to need to get a steal off the inbounds play.
Yes.
So maybe you're drawing up both.
I was right. I should have put money on this. It was a box set.
If you're drawing up both the play to score, and then you're also drawing up maybe the play to inbound. And it's not going to matter. And Hardin-Simmons will take the timeout, 79-75. And the 3 missed from Napoli. I don't know if that was officially a 3. Take a quick look back at it. Yeah, she was behind the line when she shot, but didn't fall. And barring a miracle here for Trinity, it's going to be a tough luck comeback attempt here against Hardin-Simmons. They'll inbound from midcourt. And at this point, Hardin-Simmons has options. Up 4, you could even roll the ball at Trinity and just let them shoot it again because,
they're just,
they're going to have to, it's going to take 2 seconds for them to pick up the ball, shoot it, and score, and you're going to walk away with the victory. So Hardin-Simmons, number 12 on the D3Hoops.com poll, will stay somewhere in the top 15. They did fall in another poll by 1, but 13th in that poll. But another solid showing here from Trinity. Just one of those things where if you go back and look at film against a top-ranked team, you're going to go back and look at it and say, we really wish we did X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes off of, you're not going to look at this and say that it was a 3 miss by Josie Napoli in the corner, because that's not what came down to this game. It was having to come back from a 16-point deficit after coming off of that first half where you had no attempts at the free throw line. I mean, those are things that make the game a difference, or make the difference in the game, excuse me, not a missed 3 late, and, 6 seconds left in this shot clock or left in this game,
They had 6 tenths, but Coach Hill, realizing what was available to him, instructing the team not to foul, and likely the correct move. And Hardin-Simmons improving to 14-1. They will continue their travels. They will not be back at home in Abilene for a game until they play mini Cameron Hill and UT Dallas head coach Joe Shotland. And that'll be on January the 30th. But their next time out will be January 16th at East Texas Baptist. And then they'll stay in the area and play at Laterno on the 18th for Trinity. Turn right back around. They will have a contest against another team from Abilene coming into town. It'll be McMurray, and that'll be followed on Sunday by Concordia. So 79-75, you see the stats there on your screen, and it was a valiant effort to come back for Trinity. We talked pretty much ad nauseum about what it was throughout the game, but just your thoughts as we head into McMurray and what the state of Trinity looks like here.
I mean, the best way to finish out this game was that effort in that third and fourth quarter. I feel like they really found their footing. I mean, hunkered down, I think, defensively, got a couple of possessions, linked together with a stop and a score. I think Natalie Greenwood was going to be coming in with a lot of confidence into that McMurray and, of course, Concordia game on Friday and Saturday. She had great back-to-the-basket moves and then, had a lot of her teammates really in it. One again, Ivory Scott, too, one of those players that we definitely want to see coming out a little bit more. And then, I mean, it was one of those games today. I think that first half really just, it put them in a hole, and it was really hard for them to crawl their way out of.
22 points for Aiken Simonis, and 6 of 13 from downtown. 19 points for Kenan Shields. She also added 12 rebounds for a very nice 19 and 12 double-double. 11 points for Madison Williams, and Jacqueline Berry with 9 points. And for the hometown Tigers, they were paced by Kylie Minter with 15 points, Skylar Warwick with 14, 11 points for Bailey Timmons, 8 points for Elaine King, and 7 apiece for Livy Savageau and Josie Napoli. We will be back in action here on Friday evening. It'll be McMurray. You get the women's game at 5:30, the men's game following, and then we're here on Sunday as well, hosting Concordia. And hopefully Reed is back for those games on the weekend, because I've only done 4 games, but my voice is done. And so
I feel like mine's a little raspier too, especially coming off of the big weekend.
It has been enjoyable here for the last few games, but I concede my position back over to the students and let you guys have your fun with it. So I'd like to thank Ariel on camera today, Carter from the men's team, Carter Rook, joining us to help out with replay, and it'll be, on the switchboard as always, doing a fantastic job. Been Josh Michigamba. Thank you for tuning in, and for Hanukkah Signs, have a great night.